Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. This weekend, all roads lead to Buea, the federal capital of the southern Cameroon's Amazonia. What has become now like the traditional weekly Njangi is gaining ground in the year of acceleration and is breaking ground on the home front from Doga Matum County through Bui Ngoketunja, Momo, Lebialem, Kupemon, and Guba counties. And this weekend, we've come to the federal capital. Results speak volumes. In DMC, for example, the valiant ARFs successfully dislodged the occupational military from their extortionist posts in Luz Nwa local government area, making huge harvest of weapons. What is going to happen this weekend? We'll find out only on Saturday. Now, what has been happening on the home front is something we'll bring to you in the full briefings of Undaunted tonight, coming up right after the prime headlines.
All right, here are the prime headlines for tonight. Now, the principal of the Government Technical High School, Mr. J. Indonga Mauti, got arrested because he violated the national lockdown. 7 travel agencies banned from operating again in Amazonia by the APLC. Nambera reacts to Moja ranting of searching for the Amazonia Restoration Forces. This weekend, all routes this weekend leads to the Amazonia Federal Capital, Buea, for the FACO draft. Tonight, we'll bring you a report of Amazonian prisoners of war going on hunger strike in Colonial Republic de Cameroon, New Bell Prison. And of course, on the African scene, we will be having the Nigerian coup, a major blow to French influence. What about the foreign scene? Ukraine has become the first country in history to hit an enemy submarine. And I'm sure you want to get the news in detail.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock, 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amba News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Opala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's Position, The Struggles Weekly Update, Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASCE. Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian Community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Amazonia with Pastor Victor Amba. Our Freedom, Spiritual Awareness and Education for the Amazonian Community with Pastor Victor Amba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics, with Pastor Commando, The Horizon, The Voice of the Amazonian Woman, with Dr. Patience Abiedo, and Lady Casey, Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Amazonia to the world, with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education, on patriotism within the Amazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amba Focus, only on ABC Amba Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambatv.com/subscribe.
The period of grace that the enablers and La Republic of Cameroon agents have been enjoying in Dongan Mountain County is well over. Dongan Mountain has in time past been considered as one of the green zones of Amazonia. Green zone is a sense that the war is not being felt in that area. While the colonial La Republic of Cameroon government has sung lots of praises of victory against the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, as it is one of the areas that the Ambazonia Restoration Forces were still yet to conquer from the hands of La Republic of Cameroon. While other areas of Ambazonians are observing a lockdown with doors of schools closed, schools were going on in Mr. J local government area smoothly. While Ambazonia Restoration Forces yesterday, September 13th, arrested the principal of one of the schools and his collaborators. Why were they not observing lockdowns like the different parts of Ambazonia? Well, while you're still trying to answer that, we'll begin Undaunted here tonight. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, Onye. Good evening, Amazonians. The town of Misaje was yesterday, September 13th, in a total pandemonium, with parents running helter-skelter to pick their children from school premises. This is after the news of the presence of fighters in the town. One of the towns La Republic is taking the glory of having pushed out the Amazonian Restoration Forces. The Amazonian Restoration Forces stormed the town and arrested the principal of La Republic's Government Technical High School, Misaje, in Donga Matun County, and a teacher. These two were arrested for interrogation as to why they were violating the call for the boycott of all La Republic-run schools in Amazonia. The news of the arrest of the principal caused all other schools in the town to lose their doors as parents hurriedly withdrew their children from the schools. We'll certainly bring you updates following the situation of things in Misaje and everything that happens there.
Well, moving on, some 7 travel agencies operating in Ambazonia have been banned from circulating in Ambazonia from the 19th of September 2023. These agencies have been operating in Ambazonia amidst the war with no issues. The doubt here now should be their offense or what they must do to be allowed to operate by the Amazonian People's Liberation Council, APLC, that placed the injunction. The Amazonian People's Liberation Council, the APLC, has banned some 7 agencies from circulating, is the news tonight.
Well, the 7 travel agencies concerned are Amomizam Express, Vatican Express, Golden Express, the People's Express, Guarantee Express, Diamond Express, and Mugamo Express. The ban was the object of a video of September 12, 2023, by the Vice Communication Secretary of this APLC, Colonel Amor Carr. According to the video, the ban takes effect from the 19th of September 2023. By the video, passengers were warned not to use any of these agencies, as anyone who dares should be ready to stand the consequences. The public, by the video, is made to understand that it is only the APLC that will notify the people if these agencies are eligible to hit the roads again.
Fellow people of Southern Cameroon, fellow Ambazonians, this one on an information concerning the suspensions of certain travel agencies for Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. Me, I will Colonel Amoka, the spokesperson of the APLC, they come out for pass this communication today, the of September. So the entire Ambazonian public will be informed. Say, certain agencies them be suspended till further notice. These agencies them, any man, he will go enter their motor for travel or for do anything, he got to do them at his or her own risks. He got to do them at his or her own risks. Make I call the name of the agencies there, and any man mark and find. Any man no can talk tomorrow, say I not be no oh yeah. When I share this video, may go wild. Number one of those agencies, na Amu Mezam. Number two, na Vatican Express. Number three, na Diamond Express. Number four, na Guarantee Express. Number five, na the People's Express. Number six, Golden Express. And seventh, Mogamo Express. So the above mentioned agencies are hereby suspended as from the 19th of September 2023. And if it be say they go start work, the communication department of the APLC go let una know. So in the days ahead, other agencies them they go be suspended too like them. But for now, this seven make man not there for enter their motor until the communication department of the APLC can tell say man fit enter their own motor. As we continue for pursue our liberation struggle, make everybody take care, stay safe, listen to the orders as they come out from ground zero, make man not be a victim again. Once again, this will come from the communication department of the APLC by the deputy spokesperson, Colonel Amoka. Thank you very much. I will leave you today until the next communication. Bye.
Well, the colonial law Republic to Cameroon's element, popularly called Moja Moja, has been described by some keen observers as a comedian and that he deserves a prize for comedy. While the Ambazonia Restoration Forces stormed Moyan local government area in Boya, the chief town of the Atlantic Zone of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, that was in the month of September. Well, he staged an open gun confrontation with the Colonial Law Republic to Cameroon forces. Moja was nowhere to be found. He has, on timeless occasions, declared that his presence is enough to scare away the ARFs. It was 2 days after that the outing of the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, he released a video as usual, making noises, saying, "Where are the ARFs?" and that he wants to deal with them. Now, let's get that clip.
Right. Today is the 9th day of September. Today is number 9 day for September. Aujourd'hui, c'est le 9 septembre 2023. Amba, I don't hear all that thing for Mouya, all that thing for me. I tell you now. Say how something ready for Muna. Understand? Una day. Saga grand Muna inshallah basuyama Amba. One tell all population. Say my number na 691 798185. 691-798185. Call me for 1 o'clock now. The can jam Amba. The Amba na me I tell una. Na me moja talk. You understand? No shake no day. Una take eye chop Christmas. Start for one Cameroon. Na ma flag this. You know Amba. Now today na ma flag this. Una see from today what I'll do una. Inshallah Amba basu yama tema eh.
But where was he when bullets were flying? Why did he come out the day after the incident to display empty drama? Well, his outing of September 9th has prompted Nambera to react, telling him to stop misleading people only to go into hiding when places get hot.
Well, the full report has it that this in-house slave Moja Moja, an element of La Republic's BIR forces, in a video of 9 September 2023, tells the Ambazonian Restoration Forces that he has heard all their exploits in Boya and Victoria, that he is ready now to face them. This outing is 2 days after the fire exchange between the Ambazonian Restoration Forces and the Colonial La Republic military. This outing of Moja Moja, which is considered selling after the market, has provoked a lot of reactions. Let's get this audio of Nambere.
Yes, Hasuna, good evening. Something in the way when I look I just dey laugh and I laugh. I dey laugh because I don't always advise people say any man wey no go protect you right inside your house where you sleep. When that man talks on talk, fear that talk because when they talk one fight you back, that man no come for can defend your life. Plenty of una need the year. Look how many life of how many people don't waste just a few days ago. People their property a lot. In fact, when that mean just be a man hang, be a man die. I mean, I dey feel it. Now I want to ask some question. Now, who's moja moja day with that group where the worker now? Nothing, no, not play serious. Now you know. But after all the things they don't go finish all, you go come on out with the okay Amba, the way don't go catch us. I don't know. Side go catch Amba, go carry and bring up. That sagat wey dey find it for a corner. Na that come on carry for Munya. The ika for Munya no let come na come. In that they shoot gun for up for make. I mean, no say they come na go. You know talk say they boy you hear that gun for Munya. Na time that way you supposed to go prove yourself. Na call for that the wrong put for middle road for Moyoka. Now you get for go show the people they start deal with you. And I mean they call it moja moja. I want go do something now. Now you know do nothing. They don't kill innocent people. They don't encourage people to come out. I don't think say the best thing for do and for say make government solve the problem once and for all. But so long as the problem don't they put military man will be the seen at 10,000, not to get 500,000 for one day. One cutting work on a done around the share 3 million, 4 million owner. The thing not go ever end because only una say son have a business people there. Now that reason why the fight for kill me become ever hide for not tell una the truth because una hate the truth. Since as the war don't give all my money, don't make a man man lick 5 finger. The year sweet. That sweet way they come up for the war. Una nothing criminal finish now. Any man want stop this war. Who must be enemy of people where they make money for the war. Take it from me. You don't go see moja moja now. Una no go see. Now when all thing go market go day, people go day that pass that be moja moja. You don't come now for can fight for the people. Now that on the 7th when I gone to shoot that day we all the whole year Munya the shake the whole boy the shake in the past of all social media that day give a commercial cross that fire jump that fire to bam say me moja rockam Amba when the day no go now go to shit on for play the dreaming book go say when the day made they come I want jam with them that time now on the 7th night be the day for the go jam you no go jam you no go jam but now go the 4 people they made they go pick carry their market they go also make they go kill them so that make all the people they kill let's say war over day they side money more money give military they add more military add more security don't let give money they only go una they only get money you now you go come and talk say yeah he locks don't bend yeah he locks don't do this they go sign money give you when una hold and tight but there will be a day a judgment day there will be that day that all of una so una they do all the things so una no go get me so do am again that day they come now don't worry now changshu boy them or not be changshu boy them na karampong boy them if you know say call as a karampong now when changshu fail before they carry karampong they use them reboot you just tell a shingard you understand they don't be na karampong stroke reboot boys but no worry yourself. Where you go see man don't wear carampon, not a time for wear shinga on the rich. And they tell una they talk any day. Una better solve this problem now than for now. For leave and make the problem give birth for a lot of things that una know if you handle them in future. All this propaganda una they do up and down. Let's say una specialist them. Now be very careful because they talk what they talk so una take a little play. But I just tell una well, but people I love everybody. My crying as a mini struggle. Me and me peace come back so that me people rest life to overgo. I hate that the people when they lie, they fool people, and anyhow, no problem.
Well, this is a breaking news. Reports featuring ABC Amba TV has confirmed that the ARF's Indian County has sent warnings across the management of palm oil company. Well, We have shown it times with our number here on Undaunted that Ndian is a rich county, rich with lots of mineral resources, and the neighboring La Republic to Cameroon is taking advantage of it. They are taking advantage of this to milk the county without even providing the basic minimum, like roads. How can a rich county like Indian that produces oil, useful fuel, kerosene, and even gas not have a basic commodity like a road, an accessible road network? All they do is to milk the people and expect the same people to stay happy.
Now, Dion Ngute, the colonial prime movement, he's not even doing anything about it. Rather, he goes on to claim that normalcy has returned to Indian and Pamo. Well, we know this is not true, and this is the propaganda of La Republique that normalcy has returned. Even people of Indiana will be tired of nonsense. This is from to the ARFs wanting to fight them. All right, so it seems we're having a little bit of technical issues with the audio there. We'll get this video back to you in a short while. But moving on, the Indian county that is a rich basket of Ambazonia, and it's a county that must be protected at all cost. Pamo is a company where La Republic uses to exploit and maltreat the people of Ambazonia. But Ambazonians at the home front are obviously not excited about this from the La Republique.
Well, in the same light, FACO draft is coming up this Saturday. Now, we must emphasize here, just in case some Ambazonians are not aware, that every Ambazonian is from FACO. I mean, the president of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is from FACO, and he has called on all to come in mass to draft on Saturday. Now, if you can notice, the ARFs has shown dominance in various counties lately, from Donga Mountain to Indian right about now, and to FACO as it is. So when you draft well, you would definitely see all of the goodness that comes with drafting.
Our vision in this interim government is to make APC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock, 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian stroke is global ABC Amba news and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing in news on topics with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG, and People of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is wealth. Health education and awareness within the Ambazonian community for Yaya. Liberation prayer and intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Amba. Our freedom, spiritual awareness, and educate Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Amba and Pastor Commando. Church and politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and cultural philosophies that limit involvement in the realms of decent politics. Pastoral, the horizon for Zonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber history, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia Gold with Pastor Mando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an emerging nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amba Focus, only on ABC Amba Television. We the people, the voice.
All right, let's get this the video back. It's been fixed. Let's get this video from the ARF.
Today, the number 9 months, Thursday, 14. We, the Ribbons family, we don't come out outside. We won't talk, say, no, for Pamo. Now, Johnny Mad Dog, they talk under FM Millipit, the living ghost. We don't hear, say, Pamo. Don't we? We don't come on now. We talk, say, no. Any man where the stable of a estate, this message where I send him today, now the last message where I go send him. Anything where any man see him, will have a estate, both civil and the military where the devil day, where they take us they see him. We will not pledge our blood, our life for this revolution. Based on civilian, not take it for granted. Now as I talk, we would come. Anything any man see him, may take him. Any man where they all over estate, may not say from today no go ever go Kumba. May pass water. You no go ever go Kumba. For that road, as you see, you kill it for day. Any man where you don't want to say, may we will get this freedom. It will not get freedom. As we don't talk him, that's why stand. La Republic, on a pack and go for our territory. We don't need you for our territory. Now stop for instigate our population. Any CPDM, where they among una, our civilians, una stay away from them because they go lead una for an early death. Don't kill it. Don't otherwise is sufficient.
All right, and still talking about the county, because it's the county for all, we need to let you know how prepared you must come on Saturday. Of course, this weekend is for Fako Boya, the federal capital of the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. What has become now like the traditional weekly in Jangi is gaining grounds in this year of acceleration and is breaking grounds on the home front. Now, should we start from Dongan Martun County through Bui, Ngokentuja, Momo, Libialem, Kupe, Monanguba counties, and this weekend to the federal capital? Results already speak volumes. In DMC, for instance, the ARF successfully dislodged the colonial Republic Declaration forces from their extortionist post in Luz and in Onwa local government. They are making a huge harvest of weapons that we showed you as well. Now, we do not need to belabor the case in Mantibui, the land of no return, to the barbaric to the barbaric La Republic Declaration forces. The spectacular and forceful comeback of the ARFs in Libya, pulling down a huge truck containing over 10 colonial La Republic Declaration military and Major General Sagat and his ARFs rendered the entire Boyer and Fako County ungovernable, other colonial forces and the authorities in enforcing the lockdown last week and even this week.
Now, this is the part where the interim government would advise everyone to draft until you drop. Draft so the firepower keeps burning, and then the enemy would be chased out of the territories of Ambazonia, drawing us closer to Boya, the federal capital. Well, these are some of the results that encourage bona fide Ambazonians, their friends, and well-wishers to burn the midnight oil and draft like never before, as reaching Boya is now nearer under the indefatigable focus leader, Dr. Sako.
Well, of course, this is another response. Dr. Sako is inviting several Ambazonians and other friends, home and abroad, who have shown their care for the freedom of Ambazonia in various ways, reaching out to pioneers and refugees, the displaced and home defense, protection of the children, just to name a few. Well, now from the chair Fako County, he also says, you have been one of them with our unflagging support year after year. Thank you if you can join us for the first 16th September 20 and support our draft. It will make a huge success. And so if you're also seeing the memo at the side of the screen, it also means that you have been specially invited by Mola Jimmy Jack, who is the chair of Fako County, and also Undaunted here is also inviting, because the draft on Saturday is for every one of us. So we are also inviting you for the Fako draft come Saturday.
Another report that has reached Undaunted ABC TV News that more than 43 Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia detainees held in the New Bell prison in neighboring La Republic's economic capital, Douala, are reportedly on a hunger strike to protest against their poor conditions of detention. Undaunted ABC Amba TV News gathered that in addition to the hundreds of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia prisoners transferred from the federal capital Boya to Douala, 15 others were also recently relocated there from Victoria.
The Southern Cameroon's Ambazonian inmates complained that they were transferred without warning, according to Undaunted ABC TV news source, a tactic option used by the annexationist French-dominated Bia's regime authorities is to intimidate and silence the oppressed and badly bruised Ambazonians. Well, the Ambazonian detainees transferred from Victoria Prison were later accused of attempting to sabotage the 2023 back-to-school, our source said, adding that their living conditions in New Bell are extremely harsh, that they are not even allowed to make telephone calls to call family or relations, except a guard is there by their side. Now, coming up next is African News.
on the African scene, Northern Africa, Sudan. UN envoy to Sudan resigns and warns of full-scale civil war. The UN Special Envoy for Sudan, who was declared unwelcomed by the country's military rulers, resigned on Wednesday in a final speech to the UN Security Council, warning that the conflict between Sudan's rival military leaders could be morphing into a full-scale civil war. Volker Perthes, who had continued to work outside of Sudan, said the fighting shows no sign of abating, with neither side appearing close to a decisive military victory. He also said the violence in Sudan's western Darfur region had worsened dramatically, with civilians being targeted based on their ethnicity.
Now let's go to Eastern Africa, Tunisia. Now, a group of MEPs from the European Parliament have been refused entry to Tunisia, raising questions about the controversial partnership on migration that Tunisia signed with the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and the Italian leader Giorgia Meloni earlier. The Foreign Affairs Committee, chaired by the German MEP Michael Giller, was due to arrive in the country on Friday. He says, "We have cancelled the trip. We have not been given reasons for the refused entry that would be speculation." The deal with the EU on migration has been highly controversial. It was criticized as recently as Wednesday by the charity Médecins Sans Frontières, which said it would make the bloc directly complicit in the ongoing abuse and death of people trapped in the country.
Now, the pact on migration was signed after a flying visit to Tunisia by von Meloni and the Dutch Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, their second trip in 5 weeks. It includes an agreement to return the thousands of Tunisian migrants who take the dangerous trip across the Mediterranean to Italy, along with a new initiative to accelerate legal routes for Tunisians to work or study in the EU.
All right, let's look at South Africa, the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth Secretariat and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development held a 2-day workshop in Johannesburg this week for the Southern African Custom Union member states on leveraging emerging digital infrastructure and digital trade opportunities. While it was focused on the need for the development of a regional framework on e-commerce within the SACU region, 50 trade officials from the member states of Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Namibia, South Africa, and the SACO Secretariat discussed methods to advance work on e-commerce at the regional level and identified key elements to be considered in developing the framework.
Now, in her opening remarks, the chairperson of SACO and deputy principal secretary of Lesotho's Ministry of Trade, Sireleto Mujela, said the outcome of their deliberations should assist SACO to draw insights that will help strengthen policy tactical interventions towards addressing the changing landscape for cross-border trade and how SACO can collectively facilitate digital e-commerce trade in the common customs area. The workshop is part of the Commonwealth's trade competitiveness section's efforts to support its member countries to improve their global trade competitiveness while embodying the agreed commitment to support all member countries in the transition to an inclusive and sustainable digital future. That was agreed upon by the Commonwealth Trade Ministers during the 2023 Commonwealth Trade Ministers meeting in June.
Now let's go to West Africa, Niger. A French citizen detained in Niger in the wake of a coup has been freed, the French Foreign Ministry announced on Thursday. Now, the spokeswoman for the ministry said France welcomes the liberation of Stephanie Julien. Julien is a businessman long based in Niger, had a role representing the interests of French expatriates at the French embassy.
Now, he was arrested on September 8 amid deteriorating ties that followed a coup in the former French colony in West Africa. France had announced his detention on Tuesday and called for his immediate release. Relations between Niger and France went swiftly downhill after the July 26 push, which ousted French ally President Mohamed Bazoum.
Paris, which had about 1,500 troops deployed in Niger as part of France's wider fight against jihadists in the Sahel, has stood by Bazoum and declared the post-coup authorities illegitimate. There has been there has been a wide range of speculation going through all of this. We'll be forced into a full military fallout from Niger, with a French Defense Ministry source saying last week that the French army was holding talks with Niger's military over withdrawing elements of its presence. Well, remember when this was first brought up, and France's response was the junta, which seized power last month. He said it has no authority to expel the French ambassador. You know, that statement of theirs made us wonder who does then, says Macron. The coup in Niger has been seen as a major blow to French influence in the region.
Well, following military takeovers in Mali and in 2020 and Burkina Faso in 2022, Niger became a crucial hub for France after coups forced the withdrawal of French troops from neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso, which is why, since the rise of coup d'etats in Africa, France has reacted with more restraint over the end of the 55-year pro-French dynasty in Gabon than it did over the fall of its ally Bazoum in Niger.
All right, news across the globe. Let's see what's happening in the USA. Well, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Wednesday defended her approach to the first impeachment of the then President Donald Trump in 2019 in her first public comment on the Republican efforts to launch an inquiry into President Joe Biden. Pelosi, in an exclusive interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, denied having changed precedents in the chamber, as Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has claimed in recent days to justify his strategy.
Well, moving on, the U.S. military resumes drone crewed aircraft operations in post-coup Niger. The United States military has resumed operations in Niger, flying drones and other aircraft out of air bases in the country more than a month after a coup halted activities. The head of Air Forces in Europe and Air Forces Africa said this. Since the July coup that removed President Mohamed Bazoum, the approximately 1,100 U.S. soldiers deployed in the West African country have been confined to their military bases. General James Hecker said on Wednesday that negotiations with the military rulers of Niger resulted in some intelligence and surveillance missions resuming.
All right, let's visit the war in Ukraine and Russia. Well, last week, Russian mass media wrote that Ukraine would allegedly pay $2 million to a pilot who could steal MiG 31K fighter jets. The main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry commented on this information. This is what we know. Last month, Russian pilot Maxim Kuninov delivered the Mi-8 military helicopter to Ukraine. For this, he received a reward of 500,000 US dollars. After that, rumors circulated that Ukraine allegedly agreed to pay 4 times as much for a MiG 31K with H-47 M2 missile.
Well, moving on, Ukraine becomes hits an enemy submarine. The Ukrainian armed forces do not have anti-submarine aircraft like the P-8A Poseidon or P-3 Orion, let alone their own submarines. However, September 13th, 2023 was another important day for the Ukrainians. Here's what happened. Ukraine became the first country in history to be able to hit an enemy submarine using cruise missiles. The strike was believed to have been carried out by British Storm Shadow missiles or French Scalp EG missiles. Sky News reports that it was Storm Shadow that Ukraine used. The carriers of the cruise missiles are Su to 24-meter frontline bombers.
Well, the Ukrainian Defense Forces has to search for enemies, enemy submarines. Because of these, the only way to hit the target is to strike when it is not under the Russian multi-purpose diesel electric submarine Rostov on Don. Well, that was hit. It was built as part of Project 636 and cost approximately $300 million. The submarine is a carrier of caliber cruise missiles. The submarine was docked at a ship repair plant in Sevastopol. Also, it was hit by a large landing ship mix. The extent of the damage is not specified, but most likely they are out of commission for several years, if not completely destroyed by water, but in a surface position.
Well, this is exactly what was done at night. The commander of the Ukrainian Air Force hinted that the strike was carried out by aircraft. However, there is no full-fledged official confirmation of the use of Storm Shadow or Scalp EG yet. Well, coming up next is sports. Let's head to the sports studio after this break. Well, for some peculiar reasons, we'll only have to join gaps some other time, but not today. For now, we've come to the end of tonight's Undaunted.
All right, but before we go, let's give you the major recap of today's news.
On Undaunted tonight, we brought to you the principal of Government Technical High School, Misaje, in Dongamatum County, who was arrested. We also brought to you 7 travel agencies banned from operating in Ambazonia by the APLC. Nambere reacts to Moja Moja's ranting of searching for the refs is also another news we brought to you tonight.
All right, tonight on Undaunted, we told you that all roads will be leading to Boya for the Fako County draft come Saturday. We also told you that Ambazonian prisoners of war on hunger strike in New Bells prison. African Sin, we looked at the Niger school being a major breach of France influence. And of course, Ukraine becoming the first country in history to hit an enemy submarine was looked at on the foreign scene. And that was it for tonight on Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. On behalf of Starsman and every other person in the newsroom, we say thank you for tuning in.
Leave you with ABC Amba TV images. Good night. God bless you.